I mentioned poverty and you mentioned race, but
Right.
I don't think you're implying that based on race they're committing more crime. Just that.
I don't imply that. I don't think that's
Right.
true at all. I think the left thinks it's true. I
Right.
think that's why they want to get rid of bail and they want to get rid of policing because they literally, the left does not think black people can rise above. And I thoroughly believe they can.
So the issue I see, having grown up in Chicago, having lived in New York, is that I agree. I think the stats are the stats that come from
Right.
the FBI. I think it's tied to poverty. And then there's the issue of historical wealth and systemic racism. Now, often the right says, there isn't systemic racism, or we recently saw with Jon Stewart and Andrew Sullivan. Sullivan said, what systems, what systems? John had a terrible argument. I think Andrew performed poorly. Did you see that segment
Yeah.
they did?
Yeah.
And so I would love to get your thoughts on this. The way I see it is crime is tied to poverty. And I think what we end up seeing with like FBI crime stats, it actually generates racist beliefs that some people believe race is the component that causes the crime. I think poverty is the component, and I think there are elements of history in the United States going back to, say, the 80s.
See, I would say culture. If poverty caused crime, Wall Street would be an honest place.
Yeah,
People,
but that's
what
different
poverty
kind of
does,
crime.
what poverty does is it limits the kind of crime you could commit. The guy who holds
Right.
you up in an alley would happily write a check and steal money from a company without risking his life.
Well, then,
But he doesn't have that option.
Is it
a good
violent
point.
crime?
Is it violent crime? Yeah. So, but people are sinful. They're broken. They're criminal, and that is going to come out everywhere. However, the culture, black culture, has been utterly destroyed, and it was destroyed by Great Society programs by the left. Before the Great Society, before Lyndon Johnson's Great Society, black people were moving into the middle class faster than they were afterward. They were warned, the Democrats were warned by a Democrat, by their own guy, that these programs would foster single parent homes and destroy the black family. It used to be that 25% of black children were born out of wedlock. Now it's 75%. That's more than when Democrats were actually selling their slaves, because all the slave owners were Democrats too. They were selling their slaves down the river to purposely break up the family. It's worse now. They finally broke up the black family. When you go into a prison, a Democrat will tell you, oh, look, they're all black and Hispanic, therefore it must be black. They're all fatherless, every single one. You go down that prison cell, you are looking at one fatherless child after another. It's culture. People are poor and honest. Most black people who are poor are also honest. They're trying to build jobs, they're trying to build a life and all this. But when you have no father, when you have broken homes, when each guy has 3 different baby mamas and all this stuff, you are going to have more crime. And that's what's happened. This has only happened since the 60s, since Jason Riley, one of the much better writers about black problems in America, had a book and it was called Please Stop Helping Us. And that's what I think the problem is.